The headlines from SmackDown in Atlanta started already before the TV taping on Tuesday, with Hulk Hogan for the first time since putting over Lesnar in early August, making an appearance in a WWE building, with him having a brief meeting with several company officials, including the first face-to-face meeting between Hogan and McMahon since their latest dispute over Hogan turning down the Survivor Series match, reportedly staying backstage at the Philips Arena for less than 20 minutes, with him only visiting the crew before going to a book signing in Atlanta to continue his media tour. And while the Hogan appearance all but confirmed talks of him coming back in the near future, Thursday saw the confirmation of the other two of the top three names in the industry about to return in time for WrestleMania season, with Vince McMahon after allowing a reporter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution publication to be backstage throughout the day to cover the taping in a similar format to the Raw broadcast weeks earlier in Boston, for the first time since the walkout in June, officially confirming that Steve Austin is about to return to the company in the next year. Responding to the question on the decline in viewership of both brands without its two top stars, saying that you can't snap your fingers and replace a Rock or Austin, but they're working on creating new stars, and both Rock and Austin are gonna be back on television in 2003, with SmackDown coming 3 days from Armageddon, setting up the main angle for the brand on the pay-per-view title match, with Kurt Angle meeting Brock Lesnar at his autograph signing to offer him to be in his corner on Sunday, hyping the eventual Angle vs. Lesnar clash as one of the biggest in history to start the build to their pay-per-view match, with Lesnar's suspension set to be lifted on Sunday, with him about to be cleared to return to the ring, seeing the show's first half-hour featuring two matches of Rikishi vs. Buchanan and DeMott vs. Shannon more, along with the backstage segments opening way below the recent average with 4.3 million viewers, the lowest SmackDown opening viewership on a regular week in over 3 months. With the show starting to pick up big at 8:30 p.m. with the Guerreros vs. Benoit and Kidman going 15 minutes for the tag titles, gaining 1 million viewers over 2 quarters, with Eddie pinning Kidman to retain in the final build to the first Benoit vs. Eddie pay-per-view singles match in the company, with strong expectations for the match to be the show stealer on Sunday, closing the first hour at an hour-high 3.4 rating with 5.5 million viewers. With the Atlanta reporter given almost unprecedented access to the show's production, with him following the creative crew for 11 hours during the day, in a new strategy by the company of opening the behind-the-scenes process of the business, outside the routine general preparation for a TV taping. The report indicated that most of the creative focus on Tuesday centered around the Torrie Wilson Dawn Marie segment placed at the top of the hour in the follow-up to the hotel room cliffhanger skit that closed last Thursday, with top producer Dunn going as far as predicting the quarter for the segment to be one of the 2 highest rated of the night along with the main event, saying that they watch the minute-by-minute ratings for both brands and know the general patterns of where viewers are tuning in and out, with the Torrie Dawn Al Wilson storyline generally doing strong numbers, with the segment which Vince McMahon produced and scripted word for word, including editing out or replacing some of the verbiage hours before showtime during the afternoon, matching the expectation to jump to a peak 3.6 rating with over 5.9 million viewers despite only going 5 minutes past 9 p.m., with Dunn accurately predicting the minute-by-minute viewership spike, with the segment likely picking up big for the duration of it, setting up the continuation of the angle, with Dawn swerving Torrie to set up the full uncensored hotel room skit as one of the selling points of the pay-per-view on Sunday, in a unique angle perhaps only resembling the lead-up to Fully Loaded 98, when the build-up of Sable in a bikini contest was hyped as one of the main selling points of the event. Minutes after the Torrie angle with a Noble vs. Crash match that saw the TV debut of Nunzio in the middle, Scott Steiner's limousine arrived to the Philips Arena for the big segment of the night, with his promoted contract signing to the SmackDown brand, making his return to WCW's home base of Atlanta to a big reaction for the first time since the company folded with Steiner, while still not confirmed for either brand, already returning to the WWF ring for the first time in a decade in a SmackDown house show against Buchanan last Saturday, with him also advertised for the next tour of the brand this weekend in singles matches against Hardy and Cena. Returning to the ring for the first time since vacating the World Wrestling All-Stars World title months earlier, with the past week seeing it being won by other former WCW headliners, with both Luger and Sting trading victories for the belt on a European tour in their first matches since working the final week of television in WCW history in March 2001. With Steiner, after teasing his signing with Stephanie for the SmackDown brand, revealing the details of their last meeting for negotiations, with Steiner turning on Stephanie to instead sign with Bischoff on Raw, set to officially start his full-time run this Monday following the Armageddon pay-per-view in hopes of boosting it up as the top babyface on the brand, with Steiner after proving to be a difference-maker since his first TV appearance the day after Survivor Series, continuing on the night with his final SmackDown appearance, maintaining at the 5.9 million viewers peak viewership range, with the 9 to 9:30 p.m. half-hour ending up the most watched of the night by a 300,000 viewers margin, including a massive gap of nearly a full rating point in some of a key demographic. After feuding for the majority of the year, the SmackDown main event featured Angle and Edge teaming up for the first time against Big Show and the former Albert, with Heyman now naming him a train to continue his accelerated push started last Thursday, with a planned program against Undertaker in mind for early next year, with Heyman as both the manager of the WWE champion and lead writer of the SmackDown brand being interviewed on the Canadian Off the Record show last Tuesday, covering multiple topics on the product on and off screen, including the current status of Austin and Rock with the company, going over the final months of working with Austin while in a dispute with the creative team that he was a part of, noting that the Lesnar match walkout was the culmination of several months of conflict and not a standalone issue. And while Rock already hinted at the direction of his next run minutes after the SummerSlam pay-per-view went off the air by cutting a heel promo on the New York crowd, Heyman suggested the idea of Rock returning as a Hollywood heel to use the real-life situation for the on-screen character, while detailing the creative process of the SmackDown brand, saying that while he's the lead writer of the show, the head of creative is still Vince McMahon, with every decision still going to him for the final say. Angle and Edge vs. Show and A-Train went 11 minutes in the main event to see the match after the show took an over 500,000 viewers hit in the previous commercial-heavy quarter, setting it up, bumping the final quarter back to a show-high 3.6 rating with over 5.9 million viewers, closing the build-up to Armageddon, with Angle having the match won before being pinned by Show after Heyman's interference to set up Lesnar in his corner on Sunday, building up both to Brock getting to Heyman and a possible title change.